Hi everyone, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Mary with Mary Greeley News. I think about the Veterans Hotel that was shut down so they could move in the illegal immigrants. And our veterans have had their benefits and medical care cut recently. I did not know that a nonprofit was bringing in injured Ukrainian soldiers to the United States since October of last year. These are amputees being treated with rehabilitation and prosthetics for injuries that they have received there in the war. It was all started by a man there in Long Island or Staten Island called Kind Deeds. And it says here that they've collected over $590,000 as of September 1st. I don't know how many soldiers they have brought in to the United States. Some of them evidently are staying at host families, living with families here in the United States. There's quite a few articles. I tried to translate one of them, but I couldn't do it. Here on their website, it says that over 11,547 Ukrainians have been wounded. 200 plus. We know that's not right. The rehabilitation alone costs about $20,000 for these soldiers. And it's only for soldiers. It's not for the women and children who also need this type of care. They have their own webpage here on Twitter called kinddeeds.org. I guess it is. I don't know. I only found out about it because when Zelensky was here begging for more money, more U.S. tax dollars, he went to a hospital there and visited with many of the soldiers. I thought it was interesting that all these soldiers were in their military garb. They're saying that this is a historic moment, inspired us to dream even bigger, work to persistently for new achievements. We're deeply grateful to Mr. President for his inspiring words and his acknowledgement of the critical work we do. I think they're talking about Zelensky. This organization originally started last year, I believe. I could be wrong. When the fellow that's in charge of this nonprofit took a 2-bedroom home and converted it into an area for rehabilitation. And I suppose the fitting for the prosthetics. Here's a post from Zelensky. It says that I started my visit to the U.S. with the most important thing, meeting our wounded warriors at Staten Island University Hospital. They evidently have decided to help with the prosthetics and donating their work to fit each limb that needs to be fitted and design it, because they need to be designed for each individual soldier. Let me go back to the beginning of this because I thought it was interesting. Here he is working out in his military garb. Many of these soldiers say that when they go back, they stay here maybe a month, maybe 2 months for rehabilitation and fitting of their prosthetic limbs. They want to go back and fight. This here is one of the soldiers that got his limb and then went back to the UK. This here on the left, this is the fella that started this NGO, this nonprofit, and evidently everyone works for free. They don't earn any wages for working. So I imagine it's this nonprofit that's taking care of all the visas and the cost of the flights and finding families here in the United States where these soldiers can stay. I don't know if the U.S. military, the U.S. government is involved in anything to do with this kind deeds organization. Here you can see a man who's a double amputee. It says here that 20,000 Ukrainians have experienced at least one amputation, in most cases due to explosive wounds at the fronts. That would probably be landmines. Europe hasn't experienced anything like this since World War II, and the United States since the Civil War. Here it says Oleg Marshenko was a businessman before the war in Ukraine began. He, like so many other Ukrainian men, answered the call of duty when Russia invaded, while his family went into hiding. That's when I lost my leg. I'm feeling a bit lost and didn't know what to expect in the future. Marenko and others have been given a second chance. They were brought to the U.S. by a New Jersey-based Kind Deeds, an organization that formed on day 2 of the war to get civilians out of the war-torn country. But that mission has recently shifted. Our second project is prosthetics for wounded soldiers. Said Alexandro Rumbusco, I'm sorry, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, president of Kind Deeds. The organization has partnered with an American doctor in Brooklyn who's building the prosthetics. Right now we can do prosthetics for 5 to 6 soldiers per month, and we would like to increase it to 50, 20 to 30. Well, they recently teamed up with the hospital, so now they can make more. This article here was from February of this year, February 27th, 2023. I could be wrong, but evidently the 2 first soldiers that were brought into the United States, that was posted back on October 23rd of last year. They arrived at Terminal B at Newark Airport, and it says the founder, I'm not going to try and butcher that name, shared that these are the first 2 soldiers the nonprofit has helped, and he wants to help more, bring in more from Ukraine. Another Twitter post that I found says NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg revealed that Russia offered not to invade Ukraine if the alliance would agree to deny Zelensky membership. Our refusal triggered the war. We are complicit. Yeah, you remember that's, poking the bear. They worry about NATO countries being along their border. And this is probably the second time I've heard about how NATO has refused. Originally there was negotiations, and it's just all fallen through. They want war. Another thing too, NATO exercise is planned for next year, billed as the largest exercise since the end of the Cold War. This here is the original house that was converted. It's a 2-bedroom house that was converted into where they were helping these soldiers. And it was on Staten Island. And this here is an image of Yanni Diamond at the Hagen Clinic building one of the prosthetic legs. It looks like he's grinding down on the plastic, don't it? Yanni Diamond customizes a prosthetic leg at the West Brighton office of Hanger Clinic. The first I've heard about it. Why is it being kept so under the covers, this information? You can see the first article was October 22nd of last year. The second one was October 28th. And then there was nothing until January 15th of this year. Do they know or believe there'd be an uproar about helping the Ukrainian veterans? Do they also help the U.S. veterans? I don't know. What are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please comment down below. I was rather shocked, surprised about this. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.